Hello everyone, it's me, Mrs. Gronnert, and today I'm going to tell you the story of The Giant Woman and the Bean Roots, written by me, Mrs. Gronnert. Well, you all know the story of Jack in the Beanstalk. A boy named Jack trades his cow for magic beans. Then he climbs up the beanstalk, goes into the giant's house, steals the giant's things, and kills the giant. He lives happily ever after. Have you ever wondered about what happened to the giant woman at the end of the story? Probably not. I was not even important enough to be given a name in Jack's story. The giant only called me woman, and Jack never even asked my name. I have a name. I have a story. My name is Bestla, and this is the story of how I found my very own happily ever after. As you know, I am the giant's wife. You saw me working in Jack's story. You saw how I made food for the giant and brought him his things. He never even once said thank you. All he did was yell at me to do his work. All day and all night he would yell, "Woman, woman!" When the giant was alive, I never had time to do anything but feed him and get him things. And then, one day, the giant disappeared down the beanstalk after Jack and never returned. At first, I thought he might come back, but after a while, I knew that I was free. But I only had one problem. While the giant was alive, he was really good at stealing other people's things and getting food for the house. Without the giant, I didn't have any food. I didn't have any money. The only thing that I had to my name was my beautiful unicorn. Oh, I know. They never talked about my unicorn in the previous story of Jack and the Beanstalk, but that was because she was mine. Oh, and she was the most beautiful unicorn and the only one in the entire Cloud Kingdom. But I knew that the only way I would be able to survive was to take my unicorn and sell her. So that's exactly what I did. One day, I went to the barn outside of the castle, and I took my beautiful unicorn. Oh, she was so lovely. And I decided to take her to town and sell her. Now, on my way to town with my magical unicorn, a strange little man came up to me. Why, hello, giantess, and oh, what a lovely unicorn you have. I would like to buy her from you. Oh, you would like to buy her? Wonderful. Now, she is worth $1 million because she is the only unicorn in the entire Cloud Kingdom. But the little man said something so strange to me. He said, "Why, I have something even better than money. I have beans, magical beans." Now, being a giantess, I know that magic is real. I said, "What kind of magical beans do you have?" And the little man said, "All you have to do is plant these beans in the ground and all of your dreams will come true." Magical beans? All of my dreams? Well, being a giantess, I knew that magic was real, so I traded my beautiful unicorn for the beans. And then I took the beans home and I went right to the garden and planted them in the ground. Then I went to sleep. The next day, there was a giant bean plant growing from the ground. And when I looked down, its roots stretched all the way to the earth. I knew what I had to do. So I hopped on the bean plant and I climbed down, 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 down. It took me more than an hour to get down to the earth. And when I was about to step off of the beanstalk, the bean roots, I heard the most terrible sounding voice yelling, "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And then I heard a terrible huffing and puffing sound like this. Well, then I heard someone yelling, "Help! Help! Help!" And I went running as fast as my legs could carry me. When I got to the place I heard the yelling coming from, I saw the cutest little pig covered up in a huge pile of hay. And I saw a terrible looking wolf running away, yelling, "Oh, oh, oh!" I think that my thumping footsteps scared him away. And then I went over to the little pig. "Oh, my darling, what's wrong?" And the little pig said, "Oh, it was terrible. He was big, and he was bad, and he blew my house down. He was going to eat me up." Well, I said to the little pig, "Oh, darling, everything will be okay. Here, I can help you build your house again." And that's just what I did. I helped that sweet little pig build his hay house once more. And then he said, "Oh, thank you so much. What's your name?" "My name is Bestla." "Oh, Bestla, do you want to come with me to my big brother's house? We can have a yummy soup." I said, "Oh, that sounds wonderful." So that sweet little pig took me to his brother's house. I got to sit down with 3 darling pigs, and we ate the most delicious soup I'd ever had. After that, I decided it was time to go home. But I was going home with the joy of helping someone and making a new friend, and with a full stomach. I needed that. It had been a while since I'd eaten. So I climbed back up the beanstalk and said goodbye to my new friends, the 3 pigs. "Bye-bye, my friends. I'll see you later." So I went up and up and up. The next day, I knew that I needed to go back down to the earth. My dreams were starting to come true, just like that strange little man had told me. I love it. Those beans really were magical. So I climbed down again. This time, when I got down to the earth, I heard the most terrible snoring noise. It sounded awful and loud, like this. Well, I decided I'd better go and see where that terrible snoring was coming from. So I went and I found a little cottage that was so cute. And when I walked inside, it smelled delicious like cookies. But what I saw sleeping on the bed did not look like it had anything to do with cookies ever. It was a big, ugly, mean wolf. And the strangest thing was happening. It had the biggest stomach you'd ever seen, and its stomach was thumping and bumping as I was watching it sleep. I knew there was something wrong with this picture, and I knew this was not the house of the wolf. So, as the wolf was sleeping, I grabbed him, and I said, "Hey, you! Cough it up! Cough it up!" And the wolf was frightened by my size and coughed. When the wolf coughed, out came a little girl, but I could still see there was something else in its stomach. So I shook it again. "Wolf, you cough it up right now!" And the wolf coughed up an old lady. It was the little girl's grandmother. And that wolf looked at me after it had coughed up the little girl and the grandmother and said, and ran away as fast as he could. He was so frightened by my tall size, because I am a giantess. But the old woman and the little girl weren't frightened of me at all. In fact, they looked at me and they said, "Oh, thank you, you wonderful giant woman. What is your name?" I told them, "My name is Bestla." And they said that their names were Little Red Riding Hood and Grandmother. And then they invited me to sit down at their table and have tea and cookies. And that's what we did. I told them my story about how I sold my unicorn for the magical beans and climbed down the bean roots. And they told me all about how that big bad wolf had followed Little Red Riding Hood to the house and eaten the grandmother and then eaten Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, we became such good friends. And at the end of the evening, I had even more friends and a full stomach again. My dreams were really coming true. So, after I went home and slept, the next day, I knew exactly what I needed to do again. I climbed down the beanstalk because my dreams were coming true more and more every day. This time, I climbed down the beanstalk, and all of a sudden, I heard a sneaky sounding voice that said, "Jump up on my back, or you will surely get wet." Well, I looked to where the sneaky voice was coming from and saw that it was coming from the middle of a deep river. And then I heard a little cookie voice say, "Okay, I don't want my feet to get soggy, Mr. Fox." And then I heard the voice say, "Jump up higher onto my head, or you will surely get wet." Well, I started running as fast as I could to get to the middle of the river. When I got there, I saw an old man and an old woman crying on the shore. And I saw the little cookie jumping up in the air. And I saw the fox saying the sneaky words, "Jump up on my nose, or you will surely get wet." And the fox opened his mouth wide. But right before that cookie jumped into the fox's mouth, I grabbed him. And then I saved him, and I took him right over to where the old man and the old woman were crying. They were so happy. They said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." "Why, you must be Bestla. We've heard about all of the good you've been doing here in the magical forest, saving the fairy tale land creatures from big bad wolves, and now you've saved our little gingerbread boy from the fox. Come, come, you must come to our house and eat a delicious meal. Well, that's just what I did. When I sat down to eat with the old man and the old woman and the little gingerbread boy, they said to me, "Oh, Bestla, my dear, we have been having so many problems with wicked witches, big bad wolves, trolls, and evil ogres in our magical forest. We need someone just like you." You need someone like me? Yes, everyone talks about how kind and helpful you are and how you've saved so many of the fairy tale characters. We've all gotten together and talked, and we want you to come live here with us and be our police officer. You do? Oh, yes, 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 I will be your police officer. And that is just what I am. I am Bestla, the giantess police officer of Fairy Tale Land. Watch out if you're wicked. Watch out if you're bad, because I won't let you hurt my good friends. And that's the story of how I got my own happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed the story today, and I hope to see you again very soon.